Eagle double G.
What's up, YouTube? This is your friendly neighborhood movie nerd, back to give you guys everything that is going on in the world of movies and TV, and I am back with yet another one of my fantastical reviews. So as you guys know, there was a big blockbuster that was released this weekend, and that would be the Universal remake of The Mummy, and in order to jumpstart their cinematic monster universe. Well, that is not the movie that I will be reviewing this weekend, because I had no desire to see that movie, and with everything that the reviews and the box office are indicating, it is that The Mummy was a movie that both should not have been made and did not deserve to be made. So, rather than waste my hard-earned dollars on yet another blockbuster that I would know will disappoint me, I went to see the next film from my favorite independent studio, as well as recent Best Picture winners, A24. So this is the review for A24's brand new thriller, It Comes at Night. So just to give you guys a recap of my personal connection with horror movies, I'm not really that big a horror movie fan. They just aren't my forte, and I really don't like the feeling of being scared, especially in a dark room. Not to mention the fact that a ton of horror movies have just been so overstricken with cliches that I find that in order for horror movies to really stand out and go above and beyond, they have to stray as far away from the norms as possible, which is why I was extremely surprised when after watching this movie to discover, once again, I had been tricked by the advertisements because this movie is not actually a horror movie. The film takes place in some sort of a dystopian society in which there's some kind of virus that's going around killing people off, and it centers specifically around a family living in isolation in the middle of the wilderness, consisting of Father Paul, played by Joel Edgerton, Mother Sarah, played by Carmen Ejogo, and teenage son Travis, played by Kelvin Harrison Jr. Things change for them when a man breaks into their house, and after interrogating him, they decide to let this man and his wife and son come and stay with them for the time being. However, tension soon arises between the Toon family, as suspicions soon begin to arise that one of them may be sick, and next thing you know, the cabin fever gets amped up to 11 as the people now know not to who to trust. So this brings me to the center point of what I liked about this movie, which is the feeling of cabin fever, that feeling of isolation, loneliness, and fear of unknown of what is outside the family's door is the primary driving force of this film, and director Trey Edward Schultz does a brilliant job of letting the atmosphere, the shots, the lighting, and the subtle yet suspenseful music ratchet up the scares, and he does a really good job of this. So I really appreciated that close-knit feeling of it, because it really amped up the tension and it made those first two acts of the movie really intense and intriguing and locked me right in. I also really appreciated the subtlety of the performances. I thought Joel Edgerton and Carmen Ejogo were both great. I also completely forgot that Carmen Ejogo was actually in a movie I reviewed a couple of weeks ago, Alien Covenant, but the point being she's way better in here. You've also got the other couple played by Christopher Abbott and Riley Keough. I thought they were pretty good too, even though they didn't have as much screen time. As for the son, who's played by Kelvin Harrison Jr., his name is Travis, he really was the center point of the film, and he didn't have a lot to say, which kind of took me back a bit and really couldn't get me invested in his character as much, because a lot of his character just comprised of blank staring, so there was a lot of non-verbal acting, but he did what was required for the role, and I really enjoyed his character. What lets me down about this movie, however, is the ending, because it's almost like Trey Edward Schultz had just this great setup with this isolation in the building, but he just didn't have any idea of where he wanted to go with it, so rather than come up with a payoff that he felt would just not be satisfying enough, he decided to just have no payoff, and that's really what this movie felt like. We have no indication of what the outside world looks like. We have no idea what this sickness actually is. We don't know how it affects people and if it causes them to come back from the dead, because they burn all the bodies, so you don't know if they're actual zombies or not. You assume that it's zombies because of what's shown in all of the dreams that the son has, but for the most part, you have no idea what's going on. The only thing that clues you in is to this world is the family, but they're stuck in isolation this entire time, so you have no idea. And for me personally, that really bugged the hell out of me, because I wanted to know what was going on in this world. It just felt like such a letdown, because again, this might be the advertisements lying to me and pitching me a different movie than what I actually watched, but I went into this movie expecting to at least see something that, you know, some opposing force, when really the conflict was all internal. It was all inside the cabin. It was all in them. And also, I thought the ending where it just shows, okay, so the son was sick the entire time, and it never really answers, okay, how did he get sick? And there are a couple things also in this film that just don't make any sense at all as to why they're there. Like, there's this forced romance, that sort of romance, I guess, between the son and Riley Keough's character, and that goes nowhere. You also have this thing where Christopher Abbott's character lies about having a brother, and Joel Edgerton catches it in it, and that really doesn't go anywhere, and it just sort of all builds into this kind of forced climax that really doesn't feel deserved at all. And overall, It Comes at Night is a film that has a lot of potential and does a great job of building up the tension and the scares without actually making you scared of anything within the first 2/3, but it ultimately has a crappy resolution, and it ultimately only brings this film down to a 6 out of 10 stars for me. So that's it. That is my review for It Comes at Night. Also, fun fact, check out some of the other films from the studio A24, because besides Moonlight, this past year's Best Picture winner, A24 has also done some of the best films in the past couple of years, including Ex Machina from 2015. Last year alone, they also did Green Room, American Honey, and Morse from America. They've also done other movies like The Bling Ring, Under the Skin, Spring Breakers, Enemy, to name a few. So that's it. Make sure you click that like button and that subscribe button. Also, make sure to follow me on the Twitter at Movie Nerd Review, and check out the website movienerdreviews.com. That is it. I will see you guys next time.